Harper Audio presents The Beast by Faye Kellerman. Performed by Mitch Greenberg. Chapter 1. It was the stuff of nightmares, starting with a slow walk down the courtroom aisle, as if his stall tactics had the power to stop the inevitable. 7 hours of testimony, but it wasn't the length of time that was horrific. When practicing the piano, Gabe had done marathon sessions twice as long as that. But he had always used his music to zone out, and that was impossible to do when being grilled on the witness stand. It had required concentrating on things he was trying so hard to forget. How that day had started out so normal, and within minutes had turned into something almost deadly. By 4 p.m, the trial had finally recessed, and the prosecution was essentially done, although Gabe knew the lawyers would have more questions on redirect. He walked out of the courtroom with his foster mother, Rena Decker, on one side, and his foster dad, the lieutenant, on the other. They guided him into a waiting car. Sergeant Marge Dunn was behind the wheel. She maneuvered the silent group through the streets of the San Fernando Valley, a suburb of L.A., until they reached the driveway of the Decker house. Once inside, Gabe collapsed on the living room couch, took off his glasses, and closed his eyes. Rena took off her tam, liberating a sheet of black, shoulder-length hair, and regarded the boy. He was nearly bald, courtesy of an indie film he had starred in, and his complexion was pale and pasty. Little red bumps covered his forehead. She said, "I'm going to change and get dinner ready." At the sound of her voice, Gabe opened his eyes. "You must be starving." "Actually, I feel queasy." He rubbed his green orbs and put his specs back on. "Once I start eating, I'm sure I'll be okay." Decker and Marge came in a moment later, chatting about business. The lieutenant loosened his tie, and then took a seat next to the boy. The poor kid was constantly jockeying back and forth between the teen and adult worlds. For the last year, his foster son had been at Juilliard, finishing almost 2 years in one. Decker threw his arm around the kid's shoulder and kissed the top of his peach fuzz head. Gabe wasn't totally bald, but what was growing in was blondish. Gabe asked, "How'd I do?" "Phenomenal," Decker said. "I wish every witness I had was half as good as you." Marge sat opposite the boys. "You were a dream for the prosecution. Completely credible, plain-spoken, and damn cute." When Gabe smiled, she said, "Plus, being a movie star doesn't hurt." "Oh, geez, it was barely above a student film on a shoestring budget. It'll never go anywhere." Decker smiled. "You never know." "Believe me, I know. Did I ever tell you about my breakdown scene? I'm running down this long hallway of the sanitarium, buck naked, with my hair flying in back as attendants in white coats try to catch me. When they catch me, they start to shave my head, and I'm screaming, 'Not my hair, not my hair!' I haven't seen the movie, so I'll have to take the director's word that it was a great scene." "You haven't watched your own movie?" Marge asked. "Nah, too embarrassed. Not at me being naked, but I'm pretty sure I'm a dreadful actor." Marge smiled, stood up, and picked a piece of pilled wool off of her beige sweater. "Well, gentlemen, I've got to go back to the station house. I left a pile of paperwork on my desk." "Not to mention everything that I dropped in your lap," Decker said. "Thanks for picking up the slack." Rena walked in. She had donned a long-sleeved black T-shirt, a jean skirt, and slippers. "You not staying for dinner, Marge?" "Can't. Too much work to do." Decker looked at his watch. "I'll come join you in about an hour, if you're still around. I'll bring you a care package from tonight's dinner." "In that case, I'll make sure I'm around." Marge waved and left. Decker said to his wife, "You need any help?"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?